Discord now fast.
All good. We'll give it a since we just went live and I still have yet to create a starting soon banner, even though Hodge has sassed me about it multiple times. We'll give it a second here to see if anyone else wants to pop in. I guess I also am supposed to.
Yeah. One.
Oh my god. I accidentally left the call.
Oh, it happened to me so many times. I mean, then again, oh, new build available. So we have 3 hours to wrap
Yeah.
this
Well,
up.
that's yeah, play because like our max is 2 hours from now. So
No, no, my plan would be to do 1 hour, not more, because yeah, then again, it's just watching too long videos like this
mm-hmm.
is just probably not only hard, but how much can you talk about one spec?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like
Let's
we have a 2 hour like cap on it, but yeah, you
yeah,
don't have to talk that whole time for sure.
no worries. We can always sidetrack into something fun after, right?
Okay.
Um, hmm. Okay. Can you hear me now? Still good, right?
Yes.
Okay. Because as I said, I had to disable my push to talk because then the game, for some reason, when you have a button pressed, doesn't show the popovers. I mean the yeah. Um,
Yeah. Okay.
and we kinda want them.
Yeah. I guess. Oh, I didn't set up a cat cam today. Sorry, guys. I don't know where the cats are right now. There's some. I think they're both hiding behind the couch. Um. But yeah.
They knew what's coming.
Yeah. Welcome, those of you who are here for class on Firebrand, which actually the very first class that I did was on Firebrand. Before I kind of got this class format down, and before we had very many attendees. Plus, as over time, I'll probably start repeating some of them, just so people get an interactive event to kind of go over the different profession details. Today we
Mhm.
have Antina with us from Snow Crows. What exactly do you manage on the Snow Crows builds?
Hello. Um, I honestly started with managing all the pins and just info generally on the Discord help desk to, make it clearer for people, so helping out people. Now I do a bit less of that, and actually, both with Iska, we sort of manage condition firebrands. We have a lot of talks on Condi and Quickness Firebrand. I manage officially the Hill Firebrand page build as the one I'm actually probably um responsible for right now. But yeah, back when support Hero was around, we also had a lot of interactions on Firebrand. It's just I've been around for a bit. I guess I stick long enough to be tasked with stuff. Let's
Yeah.
do it that way.
Cool.
Um, yeah.
Okay. Well,
So
go ahead and take it away wherever you want to start off with
I
Firebrand
guess
for
I can
us.
say still like 2 words about me. I've been playing this
Okay.
game since launch, but with like breaks. We all know there was not much content after launch. Yeah, we beat the story, we did the dungeons, and then it was a bit less to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been in and out a lot. I actually made Weaver on Path of Fire launch. Just yeah, still
Oh.
remember fighting Balthazar. Very well spicy instances back then, but
Yeah.
um, and so when some I need COVID mentioned hashtag when the plague started, I
Yeah.
actually got
Plague.
uh there were so many memes about plague and COVID back in the day.
Uh
Anyways,
huh.
I but around that time I joined my first guild and actually started raiding. So I didn't raid since H.O.T. I started raiding like 2020, sort of somewhere there with a chill guild, and yeah, that's when I actually started playing Firebrand. Because from day one, when I played Guild Wars in like 2012, I played Guardian, but I didn't like Firebrand on launch for some reason. So I think that's more than enough on me. Yeah. So, the topic of our, well, class, it's called so, is the Guardian Special. Well, honestly, if you played D&D or any other RPG game, and you probably are familiar with the concept of wizard, that's like the closest Firebrand is for me, because you have those crazy tomes, which are filled with spells on every almost situation. You gotta know your toolkit, but you have this power of 15 skills extra in your tomes, which you can use. There is some reflect bubble, there is some condition cleanse, there is some, extra buffs, CC, all of that packed into it. So, yeah, Fire Run is crazy because you have so many options to do stuff, whether it's defensive or, more damage oriented.
Yeah, it really,
But it's
really did bring in a little
yeah,
bit of Ellie with those tomes. Or
yeah.
NG, I guess, with kits.
It's lately when they changed the tomes into like kit. It basically operates like kit because you can't even drop your tome when you're jumping. So it
Yeah.
even tells you can't drop a kit mid-air. So it's funny. But what I wanted to say is that with those many skills, it's also overwhelming a bit for new players. Like it's not like, for example, Dragon Hunter, when you just have F1, F2, and F3, which I will sometimes call virtues or tomes just F skills because it's the default keybind. Yeah, on Dragon Hunter, on Core Guardian, you just have those buttons you basically press and they do stuff, right? On Firebrand, they just open a kit with 5 new skills. Each of those tomes has a different set of skills. So there is that. Apart from that, since I'm just doing a small introduction to Firebrand in general, your virtues change to tomes. We'll come to this in a moment. But the Firebrand special type of skill you gain is mantras. So
Those are
this
nice.
is the skill that caused a lot of friction community because there are two camps: those who love like charging mantras. I think that's minority.
Who loves
And
charging mantras?
hello.
Yeah.
I loved the animations, but I will keep quiet about loving the charge
That's true.
them.
The animations are very pretty. Also, High Spar.
Uh,
Thanks for joining us.
I remember before they removed animations, I just did a video to record most of them, and I still have it
Oh,
somewhere.
that's great. Yeah,
But
they are
yeah,
pretty. And now they went back and forth a million times on that. They made it so that initially you always had to charge them in combat after you reached
yep.
like you used the third one. And then they reverted it so that you never had to charge them. And
I
then
mean,
or maybe
we
it was
had the
only after you
solar
reached the third.
incident, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the solar incident. That's a whole other deal. For those of you who don't know, one of the previous devs actually, yeah, because he's not at ANET anymore, I believe.
I don't think so. Yeah,
At ANET, some leaked Discord chats, or rather, some Discord chats that were leaked, came about where Solar was kind of saying some not fantastic things, and also was showing a very clear bias towards Firebrand. And I think he wanted to like make it easy to play or something. I don't
and
remember.
something about Angie, but I don't remember actually.
Yeah, there's something about NG in there. I don't know. But yeah, uh,
Anyway, drama.
yeah.
But yeah, as you mentioned, there was an iteration when basically on launch, if I recall correctly, mantras were those skills that you need to charge. So you'll be in animation with. I mean, it's a pretty animation, but it's still like 2 seconds. You just charging that skill, which people didn't like, especially after they changed it. So the charge went away, and you always had it in this charged state. And speaking of the charge state, is the same now and then. You have 3 charges of a instacast skill, which is super great.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to say overpowered, but you can be like casting your, I don't know, just auto
Yeah.
attacking. Pressing
As
mantras while doing it doesn't interrupt that.
as a healer, like because I mainly play heal Firebrand, I don't really play the
Yep.
DPS variant. Because I mean, in general, I mainly just play support, but it's particularly nice if like you're trying to like res someone and you can't do anything else, but normally healers like other people should be reviving so you can keep healing, but on Firebrand you
Yep.
technically can kind of get away with going ahead and rubbing, and then you can just spam your mantras while you're reviving someone and it's fine.
Yep, exactly. I'm not quite sure, but I think nowadays you can even open the tomes, and they
Ooh.
have some effects on opening because they like kids, right? I would have to verify it actually now, but yep. So, like you mentioned, you can just spam, for example, mantra of healing, which actually doesn't heal others, I think, unless you have a relic with it. It's self heal, but it's always, pro extra protection, resolution, quickness. If you usually are responsible for that on heal Firebrand, let's face it. But yeah,
But you can
Condi
cast it,
cleanse of
regen.
Mantran lore, all that stuff would work. And then again, last charge, that's the whole stuff. Like, I could talk probably just about Mantra of Solace way too long, which I don't want to do. But there was a state where Firebrand was great
It was
because
very OP.
Mantra of Solace did give you ages on every charge. So you had basically instacast skill with 3 charges of ages for 5 people.
It was
So,
so
for example, in
nice. Yeah.
Fractals, you would just press a charge when the mechanic was about to happen. Even if you were DPS, it was like no DPS loss for you to at all.
Because it was a
Again,
trait, right?
instacast. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We actually don't have. I'm thinking about it, but I don't think we have like warrior heal skill that increases our DPS. So this is not a mesmer situation where you reset your skills with heal skill or warrior, which I think it was you wanted it for adrenaline, if I recall, right? So yeah, heal skill is absolutely free. So there was this state. Then they removed it, I think, with EOD release, and now it's sort of back with the another version of mantras, but it's only on the last charge. So going to the back to the discussion that I don't know, we are trying to rest someone, right? We can just use the last charge of our mantra, which gives ages, and that will definitely not only heal ourselves a bit, so we survive, I don't know, standing in poison in Slaughter while reviving someone, but also give ages, right, to surrounding people. So it is great.
And right now, the current state is that you have to recharge them if you use up all 3 charges while in combat, right?
That was the case for a bit of time after they changed it, but now it's automatically recharges
Okay, so they completely got rid
after.
of recharging
Yeah.
again.
So, like, if you look at me, I would just use 3 charges of Mantra Solace and it goes on cooldown. And then when it reaches, you know, uh, cooldown finishes, it used to be that off combat it would recharge, which was totally buggy.
Yeah.
Like every second time some mantras on I had it every day that my mantra wouldn't flip after I went off combat because of some magic. But now it works the same in combat and out combat, so you just use all your charges and then after those 20 seconds, right, it goes back. Actually Solace is 24, but yeah, I'm just ignoring Alacrity for a moment.
And
So,
the amount of, I don't know if you want to go over the, since we're on mantras anyway, kind of go over what all
mm,
the different ones are about. You've got those, obviously the heal one, which you've talked a bit about.
we
There's
can start
one.
with mantras. I was
Yeah.
planning to start with tones, but let's
Oh, yeah.
go.
Since we're on
Um,
mantras, let's just do it. Yeah.
yes, yes, let's continue. But one asterisk, because I was now focusing on PvE. Obviously, the mantras work a bit different in Word versus Word and PvP. I actually play Word versus Word from time to time, mainly on Firebrand. So I have some dedicated guild for that. Like, let me tell you, the battles are really fun. So Especially now they are actually working on the World versus World, so that's probably a game mode. If you haven't tried, try it. But Mantra of Solace, of course, works different there. Not only you need to charge it always at the start, but also each charge of it gives ages. So
Wait, what? In
just
World v World, it still gives Aegis?
yes,
Oh my
yes.
god.
They removed it, but there was drama on forums that people are dying or something.
Oh,
I don't
interesting.
know. I don't know. Now it's Boonbo or
Huh.
something. I wonder how the new spear on Necro works because I think it was nice for Boonstrap. I don't know. Let's not get
Crazy, yeah.
into it, but it's a huge asterisk. Just
Yeah.
remember that mantra, especially of Solace, works different in word versus word. It's let's say better because if you're playing support, you basically have two things to do: stability and ages on Firebrand. Like you're not even main healer nowadays, so yeah, managing that mantra of Solace usage is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so there's one mantra. It's protection resolution, important bones, especially if we speak about healers. Then I have a right in my hotbar, so let's start with this. We have mantra of lore, so our cleanse mantra. This is good for two reasons. Like I said, cleanse, but also upkeeping region. You don't really need it to upkeep region, but it's nice. You have other tools like Mace or, for example, Tom 2. We'll get to Toms later, but it also has skills for that. So, and like with Solace, our heal mantra, the last charge also has a special ability. So generally this is a recurring motif. Right now, mantras are instacast, they automatically recharge in PvE, and their last charge does something extra. It's either more boons, or in case of Mantra of Lore, it's actually condition conversion to boons, which is very nice. So in that case, you can see probably on the tooltip, we just convert 5 condis to boons. The normal charges just remove 2 conditions. So yeah. And also more regen, because why not? The slow here is just from a trait I have, so maybe we should just... I'll just change a trait so it doesn't show
Okay.
to mislead people. What else? Then we have probably the most important mantra.
Speedy boy mantra.
Yeah, the running people.
Yeah.
Mantra of Potence. It's great for two reasons again. Not only the speedy boy quickness buff, but also might. Like at the start of the fight, you can just press off all charges. So in like 2 seconds, we got 18 might, which is
So
just
nice.
great for might. What?
And
Yeah.
Aegis?
No, no, no,
Oh
no,
wait,
no,
no,
no.
that's
The
your perma
ages.
Aegis, that's right.
Yeah, yeah. It's we both have our
Yeah, I
perma ages, I
forgot.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um.
Just guardian things.
Yeah, just Garian
Yeah.
things. Wobender doesn't have it. Oh, I miss it so much. I just tell myself I wouldn't die so much on Sarah's with. Yeah,
Yeah.
for the record, I completed the fight with Willbender, so there were some
Dang.
things I was missing for Firebrand. Not only
Yeah,
the toms for
seriously.
extra stuff, but the Eternal Ages is, yeah,
Yeah.
lovely thing.
Um,
Okay,
yeah, and I'd say
yeah,
those are the
Speedy
main
Boy.
three at least that I always bring those three on Heal Firebrand for sure. And obviously
Yeah,
your quick boy if you're on quick Firebrand, like QDPS, quick brand,
yeah,
you're gonna want that one. And then I usually still the heal mantra, but you actually end up
yeah.
taking a different one, which I'm sure Antina's gonna get it to in a minute here. As your third
Yep.
one.
There is one more mantra which actually
Technically, there's two more, right? But one is never used.
I I wanted to say that, but recently I got corrected. Apparently
Oh.
it's funny in PvP,
Oh,
but I
okay.
don't believe in PvP, so
So
it's
it's a
like,
PvP mantra.
talking about spaghetti monster
Yeah.
for me. Yeah, but the flame damage mantra. Uh, mantra of flame, actually. So,
It
as it
does what it sounds like.
as you probably guess, yeah, it just puts stuff on fire, which
Yeah.
is actually so funny since like fire in Guild Wars is like bluish.
Yeah.
So it's special fire. That's how I try to actually um, explain why this fire burning works underwater, because otherwise
Yeah,
it
right?
would be pretty crazy. Like you doing like underwater fractal, and Firebrand is basically one of the better specs, I guess, underwater because of
Hmm.
tomes or the utility you keep.
It's
I
wild.
guess, yeah. It's not like Dragon Hunter that you lose traps or Willbender that you lose access to your what was it called? Not the melee skills, but physical skills, I
Oh,
think.
yeah. Hmm.
The type is called.
Which is wild. There's so many
So
that are like excluded from underwater combat across like specs where it's like, but
yeah.
why? And then like Firebrand is like the one where you'd be like, that would make sense because they're underwater,
Yes.
but it's fine.
Oh yeah. It's yeah, you can see actually only hallowed ground, wall of
Yeah.
reflection are disabled
Wow.
from the core guard go toolkit.
That's gotta
Yeah, the
be.
mantras obviously work because, but compare this to warrior, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I guess there's our
I don't know
other
how
mantra.
spirits work now. I'm just wondering
Spirits
about
are
druid
fine
spirits.
underwater. They turn into little
Oh, damn.
dolphins. Yeah.
Okay.
It's cute.
Oh, they look so great. Okay,
It
that's
is.
why I
It's super cute.
remember.
I think
Yeah.
actually all ranger skills do work underwater because I don't think I've ever
Traps as
had an
well.
issue with that. Yeah, traps are fine. It's
Oh, damn.
wild. It's really weird.
Damn, maybe I misremember Dragon Hunter traps, or they actually were different. Ugh.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there is water that, but I don't think it's deep.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't think it's quite deep enough. No. Um.
no,
Actually, wait. Is that a huge pool over there?
it looks like on the map, but
Yeah. I think
wait,
this is swimmable.
it
Is
is.
it? Does it get deep
Let's
here?
see.
Nah, it doesn't. But
Oh,
I also kind of wonder, like, why is this here? This is like cool.
yeah, the shrooms are all right, but you can't even move the golem here.
Oh wait,
It would be
I was underwater for a
somewhat
second. Where did that go? Oh, right here. You're underwater if you're right here.
yeah, the problem is I cannot
You can
go
actually go under the water.
lower, so
Yeah.
my skills just disappear.
That's
I guess that's useful.
what a weird area.
Uh, maybe
Yeah.
here?
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, and there's like
No
some
luck.
cobwebs. I don't know, but we found there's a cool area over here. If you want to do screenshots, I guess.
I mean, the new expansion is absolutely great for screenshot. The maps.
Oh, I was underwater for a
Oh,
second again, and right,
yeah,
right there. But yeah, I can't. I think yeah, I can't go down, but I can swim.
yeah, almost.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, it is surprisingly big, Cora. I don't know why they made it so massive, but I mean, it's cool looking, so I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem with it. It's
Yep,
just
I don't
surprising.
mind.
Um, yeah, okay. What does the
What?
last mantra do? The PvP one.
The PvP one is actually Mantra of Truth, and I
Something
call
like in a
it Peace
moat.
Mantra because when you use it, it's so yellowish.
Oh wow, yeah.
And
Okay,
there's a place
blindness,
bunch of
weakness.
condies,
Yeah,
like Cripple, Weakness, Blind,
that
and
would
Immob
definitely
on
be
the
good.
last charge.
I can see how that's a
So,
PvP one.
yep,
Yeah,
yep. Since
yeah.
instacast, etc., you can like be dodging behind your enemy, probably use it. Again, I'm not a PvPer, so um, I don't see that many scenarios because, yeah. But the colonies are definitely there, and yeah, skill being instacast, that probably helps as well.
And
Because
then,
again, we
oh,
can be
sorry, go ahead.
dodging and using our mantras, right? That doesn't block it. And
Yes, our
then there is
last,
the
our favorite mantra, my favorite
oh
mantra.
yes, it is my favorite as well. But also, I think nowadays is the most controversial, I guess.
Really?
Uh, Yeah, because I mean, if you read Reddit too much, it's always all the stability is on Guardian, right?
Yeah.
And one of the biggest offenders is actually this skill. So yeah,
Mm.
because you have three charges, and the third one is basically stand your ground mini version, because it's 5 stacks of stability and also stun break for 5 people. Maybe not everyone knows it, but stand your ground, the shout, is actually, yeah, it's 5 stacks of stab as well, but it stun breaks only you, if I recall correctly. So it's not like a group stun break.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, mantra is like, God, it's so nice for yeah. Not only stab, but the group stun break is amazing.
Yeah, yeah. It's like you play Firebrand in the word versus word because this skill exists. I don't think I'm over, yeah, exaggerating here. It's one of the most important. Like, I think I have my word versus word built on something like, oh, it is this template. So you can see it's heal mantra because our ages on all stacks in word versus word, hallowed ground because we want more stamp, and it's this huge AoE. So if
Yeah.
you're Zeraging and you know you'll be somewhere here, or you're just defending hard spot, I don't know, or in a choke, you can drop it. The only downside of it is just 1 second in a fight feels like eternity. So that's a downside, but then again, I usually have like, I don't know, it depends on the file, like rest signet or retreat for advanced, excuse me. It's now
Oh yeah,
after 10 years
advanced.
advanced.
Yeah.
That's also a change. But again, I remember, 2012 using this skill because I was map exploring. So for me, it will be probably in my
Oh, it's a great skill.
subconsciousness.
Definitely one of the ones
Yeah,
to have in your pocket as a guardian.
especially if you don't know what to pick on the, yeah, utility stats.
If there's
Yeah.
one boon that guardian gives more than any other class, it's Aegis.
Yep. Oh, it's the Aegis class. I mean, Core Guardian is basically like
Yeah,
Aegis
right. The Aegis
with
like
an extra
icon.
twist.
Yeah.
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 Um, so, Mantra of Liberation, definitely a skill you wanna know
Mm-hmm.
exists, because, I don't know, let's go back to PvE for a moment. Iceroot Saga Strikes, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is a
Oh my
lot
God,
of
you need
crowd
so much
control
stab.
happening there. Like,
Yeah.
you go to Freyr of Jormag and he does the jump, and there is a shockwave following, or I don't know, Whisper of Jormag does. I mean, he doesn't
Yeah.
actually do that much.
He does several
At the start of
knockdowns, but that's
25,
about
I
it.
think that's once. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, so
That
I
and
take back on that one,
if you
but
do Power Dragon Storm, there's like constant stab needed. I mean, honestly, at that point, like
yes,
having a
yes, yes.
Firebrand and a Renegade trade off is nice. But
Dragonstorm is great with Firebrand.
mm-hmm.
Also, since I was talking Strike, cooldown, the two cooldowns, Claw and Voice, they are
Yeah,
just
that's true.
spamming some hammer skills.
There's so
Um,
much Aegis as a guardian that like for a long time in my strike static I mained uh quick brand and heal brand, and like
hmm,
so often like I wouldn't get knocked down. I'd like negate all of the things that were coming in, but then I'd eventually find out that well like someone in my sub was like I got knocked down, and I was like I didn't know because like I get more Aegis applied to me from my traits than
yep,
my
yep.
sub does. And so like you need to have like your sub make sure to know that they know that they need to communicate to you if they're getting knocked down and win, so that way you can make adjustments, because yeah, you won't get knocked down as often as your friends.
I mean, you touched on an interesting topic, I think, because as a healer, you actually are focusing less on damage but more on what's happening on the battlefield,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably an interesting, like, um, skill ceiling to aim for, to know when certain stuff is happening,
Mm-hmm.
which you wanna maybe use ages to prevent the damage, or yeah, negate the mechanic totally, because sometimes stuff like pushback doesn't happen as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or use stab. Yeah. Definitely worth knowing your toolkit so you know what you can do.
Yeah. Do we
Um,
want to touch on tomes next?
I think it is only natural to go to Tom's, yeah. Then we
Okay.
could maybe say a few things about the X.
Yeah.
I wanna like go back to quickness, but when we go through Tom's as well, so we can just
Okay.
sort of discuss different builds, what's fun and important stuff to take. Because right now we just
Yeah.
went over mantras, yeah. You
Exactly. We
can
just went over
probably
mantras.
see if you play support, you wanna take mantra of potence to supply the group with quickness, but actually that's not the only skill you wanna take.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if we want to go
So
over traits in like before, like just the firebrand trait line basically.
no, no,
Um.
no, no, no. I would just say I would just talk about Firebrand trait line as it's
Yeah.
like simple and easy, and maybe a few traits from core which just
Okay.
are key for different builds. But no, I don't want to go too deep into
Yeah.
this because and again, Firebrand is one of the like what why I love Guardian is it has so many options in the traits and actually interesting combinations.
Yeah, there
So
is a lot of sort of. I mean, in a lot of builds, there's a decent amount of flexibility as far as being to trade out a thing here and there. But yeah, I
yeah,
remember from in
especially they
playing.
improved on it lately. Like
Mm-hmm.
made some very dead trades less
Yeah,
um
but
less punishing I say to
yeah.
take.
At least I can say towards Heal Firebrand, it's one of the rare builds where yeah, you can just swap out like literally an entire trait line, for something
Yeah, oh
else.
it's funny. Okay,
Yeah.
but
But
Tom's
anyways, yes,
Tom.
tomes. We're getting off track. Sorry, tomes.
We both derail.
Yeah.
I feel less bad because yeah, I said that at start I would just go into random stuff as yeah, so I would just unequip Firebrand for a moment just to show I think. So normally Guardian has virtues, your F skills, right? The first one is damage oriented, like you have a passive and an active, which I'll go in a second into. Then Virtue of Resolve, which is healing oriented, and Virtue of Courage, which is usually Aegis or something, like another defensive stuff.
Yeah, like support defensive
Yeah.
boons kind of thing.
Actually, it's just like one damage to support defensive. So you can see
Yeah.
there was a motive that Guardian was meant to be this more of battle support. I think I've seen some mentions in like Guild Wars books that Guardian was supposed to be a mix of monk. If somebody played a monk in Guild Wars 1, it was like more of a healing and smiting class.
Hmm.
So um so there is that. But it's also a bit of warrior, right, with all the um armaments and basically being rather a melee class. Although pistols and longbow exist. And also no table mention about scepter and stuff, but damage wise it's yeah. It's now there's a lot of pistols in our builds. Okay, so we have those three virtues. And on Dragon Hunter, they are swapping to different skills. But on Firebrand, they actually go even deeper. So as I mentioned at the start, we are becoming basically the support powerhouse wizard. And yeah, no, I think it's no exaggeration here. Our books not only have a passive still, like for Guardian, they have an effect when we open them, but there is also the set of skills we gain when we open each of one. So
So like
I
I just
guess I'll
gained
just
might from Antina opening that
yeah,
tome just
yeah,
now.
yeah. That was the effect of activation. If I did it again, you won't get the
Yeah.
might.
It's on
But if I
cooldown there.
do open my second tome, you'll get regen. Yeah.
So that's a good
And then
point
you'll
there
get
actually.
protection from this.
If you see in Antina's buff bar there, the red version of her tome
Mhm.
icons, when it's red, that means that you're not going to be getting the benefit. Oh, that's a good idea. Why have I never thought about that when doing these?
Yeah, I
Anyways,
was like,
yeah.
wait, can I go even bigger? Maybe I'm not gonna die
Whoa,
to
okay.
this. Like, yeah, okay,
That's a great idea.
I'll survive.
But yeah,
I
so
have pretty big skin, but I think it's easier on our viewers like this.
yeah, that's fair. But yeah, so the red means basically it's on cooldown and you're not going to get the. I think it believes you, or I believe it means you also don't get the passive while it's recharging, right?
So that's another thing they changed a few times, and it's just
Okay.
like a bit spaghetti to explain, but on launch and for a long time, toms were like basically any skill they had a cooldown. So when I opened my Tome of Justice, I would just do 5 skills because I had 5 pages, and then I would be eaten out of the tome. And the tome would be on a cooldown, I believe, 24 seconds or something like this. It's again a bit trade and alacrity related, but I couldn't re-enter the tome. And it was also, I think it had a small activation time. It wasn't instant. So it would actually, I was casting a spell. I couldn't during the cast open the tome. But now, yeah, I can have. See, I opened
Oh,
and closed tome
that's
while casting
nice.
shield skill. So it is instant. The same the mantras do. I can be casting a skill, and actually I have mushroom buff. I should overuse. See, I'm using my yeah. Oh, so tomes had the cooldowns, and it was a bit easier. Now there are those red tomes, which not everyone likes. I actually think red on Guardian is anticlimactic. I become Ellie, but let's just get into this. Um, so the main thing is when your tome is red, you got the free mind, right? So the activation proc won't happen.
Okay. So you still get your
So
passive.
the passive is a huge asterisk to asterisk again,
Okay. That's fine.
because there are 3 traits which just mean that when your tome is dormant, you retain the passive.
Oh, okay. That's neat.
So yeah, basically, if you're any DPS related
Oh, one
spec,
for
you
each.
wanna take, for example, Quickfire, which the first line says retain Justice passive while it is on cooldown.
That's
So
neat.
now, yeah, if you know Guardian a bit, there are those blue flames here behind the skills. They mean they actually are sort of like like I don't know. I never look at them that much. They are more like addition to hotbar, but they actually mean if you're about to proc burning on your enemy. Because
Oh, I
normally
never
our
knew that.
core, yeah, our normal core guardian, let's go again to core, has the flames as well.
Yeah.
So they just slightly grow each of your hits, and by default, every 5 hits, like there is the second line from the bottom, number of attacks to trigger. Every 5 hits, you just put burning on your target. That's just like core guardian thing. So now with Firebrand, we have this stuff in the background still, but the skills also become kits. So that's why, for example, you can see this also gives you might. You got 3 might, just like
Oh
you
yeah.
would get on Firebrand. You also got Justice
Oh
effect,
yeah.
which yeah, you see, next attack inflicts burning. So basically that concept like state, when you activate your virtue, stuff happens, you share it with allies like boon wise and effect wise. Now I applied regen with F2, and now I gave you protection with F3. But Toms just do the extra layer on top of it, which is the 5 extra skills. Going back to Firebrand. So yeah, we don't see the cooldown here. So instead of the cooldown on Call Guardian, you can clearly see the F skill is on cooldown. But here you will have a red tom. But again,
Oh yeah. The
if you
flames are
take
gone.
one of those, yeah, if you take one of those Grandmaster traits, they each correspond to one of the tomes. Like going from top, Stoic Demeanor is Retain Courage, so that's F3. Then we have Quickfire Retain Justice, that's F1. I know it's not in order, I
Yeah,
guess
that's like
you can
really
feel like
annoying actually.
complaint. It triggers me, but uh, and then F2, last but not least, Retain Resolve. I think this is one of the least useful traits as in Grandmaster Go right now, but that's my like personal opinion on it. They each do some stuff apart from keeping the passive effect on like detached from Tom activation. Well, I said it in a weird, actually, set of words. Let's just say I take Lore Master, right? So the passive of the F2 Tom is it heals every now and then. You can just see its Tom of Resolve 200, 199 heal. So this just periodically heals. So if I open the Tom and it's still red, the passive still works. You can even see there is extra icon here on the buff bar, which is a bit silly because you have red Tom,
Yeah.
Dormant Resolve, and Tom of Resolve regenerating health. But this is still important because, as I said a second ago, the F skills give you some boons, right? They have an on activation thingy. And that doesn't trigger if your Tom is dormant, even if you take this Grandmaster trait. So again, as if it's spaghetti, but if you just think about it, like there is a passive effect of each F skill, and then there is an on activation effect, then it's, I think, easy to understand. The on activation doesn't happen if your Tom is red. So good example would be, again, let's go to word versus word for a second. One of the fun traits to take there is Indomitable Courage. It's also a trait you can totally take as heal Firebrand on if you need extra stun breaks and stability. When I use my F3, it's a core trait, so it could work even with Core Guardian or with Dragon Hunter, like a side note, but let's keep to Firebrand. If I open my F3 Tom when it's blue, so it's not dormant, I will give you stability and I will also stun break you. It's also a
Oh
huge
my
radius.
god.
Just notice it's 600. Just did you see the small circle like there? It
Oh, we
was a
don't see
huge
it, but
circle.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or
It
at
was
least I didn't
very.
notice it, but yeah. That is
It's
that's cool. I didn't
very,
know F3 did that when you just that's just opening the tome, right? You said?
yes,
That's
but
crazy.
it now when it's dormant and it's dormant for like,
For like a
I
minute.
think it's over a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't do it anymore. So I can just another silly thing. The dormant doesn't reset with the mushroom. Oh well. Anyway, now it doesn't proc the buffs anymore when it's red. So, but again, in some fights, if you need this extra cooldown for stability and stun break, this trait with the tomes works just fine, and it's a great option. But that's like the thing about all of the tomes. They have an activation effect, and it will work with the existing traits, which just do something on activation, right? Like there was, where was it? Yeah. So in Virtues, Inspired Virtues is basically give boons when you activate a virtue. You can see it in the first line. Like virtues apply boons to allies when activated. Easy. That's where the free might, regen, and protections come from. You can even see the core guardian icons here, which is a bit silly because we are on Firebrand, but let's omit that. So if I were, for example, to swap to Valor now, my F1 Tom, even though it was blue, it didn't give you might anymore.
Yeah. Okay. So that
That's
originally
where it
actually
comes
comes from
from.
virtues. Okay.
Yes, this comes from Virtus,
Virtues is
and
such
if you
an
don't,
OP trait line.
yeah, it's yeah, it's also very fun, especially the last three. I mean, Grandmaster traits are meant to be great
Yeah.
impact and fun stuff, right? So I basically this trait line, I guess, delivers it. Um, Yeah, there is, for example, I'm sure Pixel talked about it on a Willbender class, but like Battle Prisons I have cover over now. This works with the Willbender trait that gives you alacrity. That's like a weird interaction. I think the devs didn't actually realize at the start and they added it later because community acts. So yeah, definitely dev skills depend no matter which spec you're on, they still interact with the core guardian traits. So just keep that in mind. For example, permitting graph is a thing you wanna take on DPS Firebrand, and it's of course the virtue skill ones is the Tom one here. Um Yep. So that's the thing with the red toms, which is a bit can be a bit weird. Like you log in on your Firebrand first time, you open your tom, and it's like, why is my tom red now, right? Or why do you have two icons, one red, one blue, of the same on your bar? This is like a more of a recent change when they was it 2 years in November reworked tom or 1 year? I can't remember anymore. They did a rework for toms at certain point
Yeah,
though.
they've done it at least, I think, a couple times or something. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. But it was the biggest one, like the Toms losing their cooldowns and being essentially kids because can I actually I need to be I don't know how to do it. Wait,
Yeah, I
maybe
don't
I
know if
need
you
to
like jump.
fly?
Yeah, you might need to glide and then have it. Is it letting you change? I guess
Um
so.
you can't glide here though, right?
Oh, yeah. I thought you used
I
to be
don't
able to
know.
glide in
Maybe it's
here.
special area. I, I get this so often. I'm just doing something weird probably. Anyway, um because yeah, Toms are 15 skills, so we can never end this story. So I will just get to the toolkit. But there is
Okay.
one, there is one great rule which applies to all three Toms, and I think they actually borrowed the idea now to the Ellie spear, which is each of the Toms actually has a sort of when it comes to area of effect, a theme. What I mean by that is like the first skill in each of the tomes is a small cone in front of you. You just toss a spell in front of you and it does something. It's either, F1 them, F1 your tome of basically, yeah, unleashing the heat of Vabi, etc. We are in Path of Fire, remember? So scorching, yeah, scorched aftermath. It's all the ashes of just. It's all Elonem based lore. Yeah, we are just unleashing hell. And F1 is this small cone which basically applies some damage and burning. Then F2 is healing. Then F3 is protection and swiftness. Again, it's like defensive cool toolkit. But it's all the skills are those small cones and it's in front of
And
you.
the mantras as well are cones, except for the final
Yeah.
charge, which is an or
Oh,
it's
that,
final charge on
that's
heal is an AOE at least. I don't remember on the
That's
others.
yeah, that's some crucial information we actually forgot to mention. So I will just hop to mantras for a bit. They are cons, you can see by the animation, but there is also one thing they actually changed about it recently, and it's actually great because mantras have actually two areas of effect. They are a con, but they are also a small radius around you.
Oh, are they
So
doing that every
the
time now?
yeah, so
That's
it
so
is like
nice.
180 around you, which is pretty small. Like, let's say I stand,
Yeah,
probably you're
that's
too
maybe a
far, or you're
radius,
just,
just
you are
barely.
just, yeah, just barely. But if I move here, you didn't get it, right? It's
So
not
in
like you're in
particular,
Narnia, it's
yeah,
just,
on a boon
yes, that's still too
firebrand
far.
build, yeah, you really need to be aware of positioning to be able
Yep.
to make sure you give your allies all your boons. At least we're now not always having to make sure they're directly in front of your face. But that's always what I've done
Mm.
whenever I've run things and I'm trying to get people to stack right. I'm like, just stand literally right in front of my face and don't move out of that area.
Oh yeah, that's a habit I actually earned when raiding and usually
It's
like,
good for
for
stacking
example,
too.
tanking or yeah. Basically, whenever I'm on Firebrand, not even in DPS, I just automatically stack behind the group slightly. It's the old cones made it this way, but oh, the
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
Scar might have
The
dropped off
thing
to
that
just watch on Twitch.
yep. The thing they actually added lately is the cones are wider. So it's not just like the animation shows you. You see, you still got it, even though animation is a cone of 60 degree. They just made this cone 160.
Oh,
So it's hard to actually like show, but for example, if I was looking like in front of me and you were just dead left of me, you probably won't get it and you don't get it. But
Okay.
if I just move a few steps behind you, like you're like in 160-degree, see, you still get it.
Oh, that's
Like
nice that they made that bigger.
before, yeah, before last patch, this wasn't a thing. So it was
Okay.
like
So
either
it's very good.
180 around you or the cone, which is 450, so it's rather huge in front, but it's like a small cone in front. So suppose I would be here, right? And the old mantra would be just barely miss you. You're out of 180, you're also not 450 away from me, but the cone would barely miss you. And you would have, well, very sad amount of quickness on
Yeah.
you, I suppose.
Uh huh.
That's like 101 mistakes for Firebrand,
Yep.
especially new players, that they
Absolutely.
just miss the group with cons. Like imagine we are repositioning. I don't know. Let's just take like Whisper of Jormag again. You will just go from the side of the arena to the middle, right? There is a few moments you wanna run around. Um, yeah. So basically, giving booms to Narnia isn't
Booms
that
to
easy
Narnia.
now because the
Yeah.
con is a bit wider, but it's still sort of recommended to be stacked. But if you can't, then you need to at least sort of phase your party, right? If you were more. Wait, can we? Oh, we can't use markers, right? Can we?
Sadly, no. There are no
Don't work.
markers in parties, which
This is
makes me very sad.
this is very serious. Another reason to make a next class in like I don't know. Oh, Homestead wouldn't work either, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I know, that's what sucks
Anyway,
is like you want to have a golem, but you also want to be able to like place squad markers. It just yeah.
yeah.
They just need to allow squad markers and ready checks in parties. That would be nice.
I mean, it's almost a squad, right? It's just half, so
Yeah.
it's
Just
maybe one day. I mean, I think they've mentioned something about squads. I don't know. I digress.
yeah.
But the cones.
Yes.
So they made it a bit easier because, for example, you have revenants who have this huge 600 AOE, right? They pulse their quickness and other boons. But on Firebrand, you would have, yeah, it's 450 is a great range, but it would be disaimed. So you basically become like boon sniper. I don't know how to call it because you need to phase your party before the change. Now it's more or less people in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and let's
Well,
just
that's
send
good.
here.
That's
You're
better.
perfect. Yeah, you're perfectly fine even here, right? I'm just slightly behind you, even though you're on the left and probably out of the. Yeah, you got this as well. So it got way easier, but it's still important to know mantras is a bit around you, but mostly in front of you. So if someone is stacking, I don't know, if I'm here and you're there, you won't get any of my quickness. It's just no. It's I suppose if you play with a firebrand, you wanna hug them because it's
Mm-hmm.
beneficial to you.
Firebrands just want to be hugged. Well, preferably
Yeah.
they want to be the ones doing the hugging. I guess don't hug a firebrand from behind. Well, I guess there's an AOE, but still try to hug them from the front.
Nice. Um, I mean, this is like general discussion that stacking is usually
yeah.
beneficial in our content, right?
Exactly.
Like in World versus World, it's the thing to do. In PV, it is also because boons. But
Just makes it easier.
I digress.
Yeah.
So
We
that
just
was the thing extra with mantras I really wanted to mention because yeah, people tend to think it's just weird. They have no uptime on quickness or the cone is small. They made it huge now.
um let's see. Do you want to go over some of the specific skills that are in the tomes? They're
Oh
handy to
yes,
know or often
let's
used.
uh, let's just finish the motive because we got
Oh
into
yeah.
cone discussion.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Yes. So the first skill is always a small cone in front of you, like whether it's damage, healing, or some protection. The second skill is usually I don't want to call it donut, but it's like small radius around you.
Okay.
So let's go from F1 starting. Of course, it's damage, so burning and weakness. On F2, it's fun because it's condition removal and you heal if you con the remove. So that's nice. Like popping into F2 and pressing 2, like F2 2, F2 2 can be remembered easy, right? S2 Condi cleanse, almost free, just one page, easy. And then F3, I guess there is resolution here, which
Yeah,
we could support, but you usually use it for CC,
yeah,
right?
that's the
Taunt.
only time I use it, is if I really have to tap in and get more CC, then I use taunt there.
Actually, when you're playing like DPS Firebrand, because it's a condition. So right now I'm on heal Firebrand and it's 2 seconds on 4 second cooldown. But if I were to swap to my Condi build, you would see it is
Oh,
three
yeah.
and yeah, it's almost 4 seconds. Like because the build actually prioritizes burning duration, so my Condi duration is like almost would be 60% with
Yeah.
food, right? So it is almost full uptime on Taunt, I guess, which is some CC bar. And yeah, so small radius around you. To be exact, 240 on each skill. You can see it. So there is a ongoing theme there. Each skill like
Yeah.
has the same area of effect in each taunt. The same goes for skill 3. This is a targeted skill, the only targeted in tomes. And yeah,
And they're all the same size
starting, yep,
across the
starting from
tomes.
F2, Defiance Break, very cool, ranged.
And a pull if you really
Uh,
need it. You can sometimes use that on Seekers during
I
VG.
mean, yes, that's one thing, but also just I mean, no matter if you play raids, like Seekers you mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
no matter if you're playing like open world, pulling the mobs together to crash them, you just interrupt them and just group them. It's so fun. And then
Yeah.
again, you have word versus word, pulling some people from the walls because you can.
Yeah.
So definitely my favorite skill in this tome actually. Um, oh yes, word versus word pulls. I just spam it, even though I should have pages for other stuff.
Yeah.
On F2, it is one of the sources of regen, which I guess we can come to back later, but it also gives vigor. So
I believe
again,
it's the only source
targeted
of
AoE.
vigor on
It is on Firebrand,
Firebrand.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
So keep
weirdly
that in
enough,
mind with your.
Dragon Hunter has vigor on longbow symbol.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, because yeah, keep
Yeah,
that in mind if you're on Heal Firebrand and you've got Vindy or Daredevil friends in your sub. They're gonna want. And no, Mirage wants regen. But anyways, they're gonna want a lot of vigor, basically.
yeah, they wanna dodge a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was even a dodgy NG build, but I
Yeah,
don't remember.
yeah, Gear Devil.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. That's such a on point name.
yeah, it is. It's good.
Um, yeah, okay, so 2 is bigger.
Mm-hmm.
They actually added some more healing to this, so it is
That's
great
nice.
because it is one of your ranged healing skills, which is worth. You want to know this because sometimes you'll be, for example, doing mechanics on Heal Firebrand, and yeah, staff is one of the weapons which gives you ranged healing, but you may not be on staff. Then F2 skill free is just great for it. Look at the range. Like
Yeah, it's
I can
great.
be just doing kiting on Deimos. I actually did it on Firebrand and like tossing some boons on the stack because I can.
That's
And
nice.
then last but not least, the bubble.
We love Bubble.
We love bubble. It's great in War vs. World. I can imagine it's in PvP as well.
Oh, it's so
And
much fun in
in
PvE.
yeah, in PvE it says yeah. Um if you time it well, I believe you can solo like reflect on Matthias, for example. I think I did it a few times. So it is actually long enough to do stuff.
You can
5 seconds,
also
but
use it to make. In particular, I enjoy it on fractals because on Siren's Reef, you can put it down on top of the bristlebacks and they just murder themselves. And then you can
Oh, that's
also,
so cool.
it's
Yes,
fun.
I love that use.
Yeah, and
Yep.
then the other one is if you're doing normal mode Sunqua and you're going up the part with the fire Ellies, you can put that down, and I believe it's their reflected death blow. Either that or just one of their attacks. But anyways, they'll turn into allies if you reflect those attacks. And then you've
Wait,
got
wait, wait,
little
wait.
slublings following you.
Yes, yes, I did that as well.
That's
It
fun.
is great. Then you have this small army just following you.
Yeah.
Yes,
You can also
it
reflect
absolutely works.
Terrorlings in Soto, but those are a little more difficult to predict.
This one I didn't try actually, but yeah,
I've done it on
bubble.
accident a
Oh,
couple times on my Ranger.
oh, the first time I got the fire slablings was also like an accident because
Yeah.
I saw spits. I was low health, so I was like, instinct. Let's bubble this actually. Oh, it was funny.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, they actually decreased the page cost lately, so it's
That's
just one page.
nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
You can't perma bubble like on Vindy because it's 5 seconds and 15 cooldowns. So it's like, yeah, you probably would need like two firebrands maybe, but then again,
Yeah.
not many cases you want to do it. I suppose like the only one that comes to mind is HTCM, like last purification, but well,
Yeah, even then,
there
like
is that,
there's some
right?
other options there. But yeah, basically
Yeah.
it's good to remember
Yeah.
that you've got a projectile block in your toolkit.
Yeah.
Not that Guardian doesn't already have like two other projectile blocks, I think.
Yep, the most probably recognized as, I mean, they are both
Yeah.
great. Like Sanctuary actually just destroys projectiles,
And does
but if you want to
CC as
reflect,
well.
there is
Yeah.
Wall of Reflection. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is twice as long as the
Oh.
bubble because it's 10 seconds, but
Yeah.
that's mostly because I'm running a trait from Virtues again, recurring theme, which is Master of Consecrations.
That was a good
It's
trait.
Yeah, it is here because the other traits are, well, not great for Condi, and, well, you use Purging Flames on Condi, so there is that.
Yes.
More burning on this because it's just longer, more pulses. It's great. It's, yeah, almost a burst skill or button, but we'll come to this like later. Uh, Finishing the Tom. So 3 was like targeted radius, a bigger radius, but targeted on ground. Then we have 4, which is just another radius scale like around you, but bigger.
Force skills are great in all of the tomes.
Yes, yes. Like the first tome, the damage tome, this scale actually has more damage than any other in this tome.
Yeah.
This is like the top damage scale
Big
nowadays. It used
damage.
to be Ashes always, but when they nerfed it in PvE to 2 stacks and did
Yeah.
some other stuff, this is no longer,
It's not as
friendship
big as it
ended
used to be.
with
Friendship
Ashes.
ended.
Yeah, now
Yeah.
Scorch Aftermath is my best friend. Not only
Yeah.
shorter cooldown, but yeah, it's also honestly, this feels so clunky to cast sometimes. Ashes of the Just, the epilogue. Well, Scorching Earth is Scorched Aftermath. I don't know why I change the name sometimes. It's just more snappier, especially with quickness. It's my like my personal feeling. But then we have Tom 2, which is, I believe, the only water field on Firebrand and Guardian in general. I might be wrong, but yeah, water field obviously can blast it with stuff on other stuff for healing. Other than that, it just heals a bit. So you can see the lore release a torrent of pages describing the water cycle of the Elon River. Yeah, we are a wizard slash, like, I don't know, archivist, sort of class. And then, last but not least, probably, again, a slightly crazy skill. Not only applies resistance, but also breaks down. Only for yourself, though. So F3 also has a very nice 4 skill. This is like, I can only think about a good use in actually fights where fear and stuff happens. Like for example, you had Zaiten face in Harvest Temple again, right? So people would wanna try to stun break the fear, but if you or Firebrand just used this, you wouldn't get interrupted by the fear. It was just negated the effect. So pretty neat in some niche cases as well. And again, skill 5 in each tome is even bigger. It's all 600 radius. Ashes of the Just, I don't think I need to introduce it. You give everyone, 5 people, everyone in the party, that's like by default when I mean everyone, a buff, which makes their attack apply burning. Then in the healing tome you have a kinda crazy skill and I think undervalued by many.
Oh,
It
it's a
not only
great
gives
one.
a buff, yeah, it gives a buff to actually increase the healing of every healing skill, healing of other healers
Oh, so it
as
affects for
well.
other people too. Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'll use it and see you got Eternal Oasis. Healing you receive is more powerful. So it's not like healing given, but healing received. Anyway, it also converts condis to boons. So something similar to Mantra of Lore, right? To the last charge of Mantra of Lore. But it's not a con, it's 600 radius.
Yeah.
So imagine you're a bit, spread wide on the battlefield. You can get this small person the back behind. I don't know why I thought of Azura now right now. I don't know. And then, last but not least, epilogue of the third tome is again great skill. Give everyone toughness. Eat the tank if it's toughness based.
Right, yeah, you gotta be aware of that you're not gonna make someone go up over the toughness of the tank.
Yep, it gives 300 toughness, and actually some bosses like I don't know Doom, they feel that, and there has been some fun bits with this skill. But yeah, especially if you're like tanking on low, toughness, and the tank is in the other sub, and
Yeah.
they don't get this buff. You suddenly just jump. Everyone in your sub jumps 300 toughness. Let's go. Everyone is tank now.
Yeah.
But yeah, the most important actually reason why would you use this skill is the stability in ages actually. So yeah, the Guardian special. And I think that wraps it for the tomes.
Yeah. Which one thing to
So the
mention, I guess, on the tomes that I would say, mainly in reference to a heal brand build. If you're just now or just starting to get used to Firebrand, like for me, Firebrand was the first thing that I really got used to at all on Guardian. I don't even really know the other two specs very well. And so jumping in and seeing like mantras and skills, and then there's tomes, and there's a bunch of skills inside the tomes. It was a lot of overload. But you can
yep.
actually get away with like you can technically get away with not using your tomes at all. I'm going to be honest. I have, when I first was learning Firebrand and I just started out in fractals with it, especially starting out like just doing like T2 or 3 or whatever, something where a healer isn't super necessary. But I just wouldn't use tomes for like months, and then I got really comfy with everything else, and I was like, I guess I'll start using tomes now. And even then, I still probably don't use tomes as much as I should or could. So basically, all that just to say that, like, in particular on the heal brand build, you've got a lot of flexibility as far as like you don't have to stress out about learning all these tomes, or heal brand can maybe be a good like sort of step before you then have to touch like quick brand or a full DPS build where you do need to start tapping into tome 1.
Yeah, for me it was a bit different because my first like Firebrand build was the DPS one because I wanted a Guardian build with Condi damage oriented, let's just say, right? So I did a bit like you. I ignored the other two tomes.
Yeah.
Not to overwhelm myself at first, and it was the time when the rotation of the first tome was very strict. Like you would open it, you would do what was it? I think it
It's
was
2, 5,
two.
4.
Yeah, I did 4-5. Don't
Okay.
blame me because my fingers are small and it
Yeah.
was easier to reach like this
And
because
then I think you'd do
yeah,
two again, and then you'd close.
1 and 2 because it wasn't yet off
Oh yeah,
cooldown.
that's right. Yeah.
There was the time you could use 5 skills and then it would throw you away from the tom. So yeah, you could sometimes. I mean, you can now as well, but it's not beneficial. Sit in the tom for a longer time, but yeah, now we can just swap freely before toms, like you can see, play piano.
Yeah.
So it's not advised to just sit on a tom. Just use whatever you need and leave. But yeah, I think you're right that if you're new to Firebrand, it's more important to actually like. As a healer, you always are responsible for boons like quickness, might, and such. So it's the first thing you want to learn is how to upkeep quickness and might, right? And what are your healing maybe capabilities, which skills do that, and then maybe start tapping as a next like milestone into toms, because that's basically a lot of extra stuff. Like I
Yes,
said at the
definitely.
start, you have a button for almost every situation. You're this crazy guardian wizard, you can just pull a spell and just bubble on everything, just negate a mechanic, right? Or everyone, I don't know, use unbroken lines to give everyone more toughness, stability, and ages, and just negate the mechanic of whatever would be the CC or block something. So
Mm-hmm.
it is something you wanna reach eventually to at least learn maybe a few skills or try using them. For example, for healing especially, F2 is great because you can use just the buff on skill 5, which just buffs by 33 the healing others get. This is just one skill that is very like great value for one button. Let's just call it,
Definitely.
right?
Yeah, like if I
So
have an
you
oh shit moment in healing on Firebrand, I usually go in there, I hit 5, 4,
yeah
2, 2, 2 until I run out of pages.
Yeah. For me, it was for a long time. It was like 5 to buff the healing, and then just 1 1 1
Oh,
until
maybe
I
it's
run off
111. That's
pages.
what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, two is Condi
Two's the
cleanse, so
Connie
it's
cleanse.
also great.
Yeah.
Two is
So I
Condi
would do
cleanse,
like 5,
but
4, 111 then, I think is what I did.
yeah. Because 5 not only buffs the healing, also removes 5 Condis. I mean, converts Condis to boons,
Yeah,
which is
that's
actually even better,
even better.
right?
Yeah.
So when I see people how, I don't know, they have those crazy visual effects. For example, on Slotos, you actually can see that people are burning because they ate the fire breath, right? So you could, for example, use 2 or 5 to Condi cleanse it if you're not running Mantra of Lore. But yeah, definitely start with weapon skills and mantras.
Mm-hmm.
Using mantras of cooldown is essential to giving quickness to your group, and I guess we can just move into like just
The builds from
Hillbrand
there.
as a
Yeah, that sounds good.
build, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because then we can touch on the weapons as well. Um, so Hillbrand quickness giver, one of the most important things you wanna do on that build. Um, as one of your base skills, bread and butter, will be Mantra of Potence, basically using it off cooldown. So nowadays, it auto recharges in the fight. In combat, outside of combat, doesn't matter in PvE, it will just get back. And basically because the last charge gives like twice of the amount of quickness than the normal charges, it's just mathematically best to use all charges nowadays. There is also the benefit of giving extra might, like the last charge giving 8 stacks of might, which are like almost 20 seconds.
Wow.
How much boon duration do I have? I have like
Yeah,
90,
jeez.
98 boon duration, so I would just eat, I think, I guess. Don't mind me, I'll just eat random 2 foods just to hit.
Yeah.
That was a concentration power food, I think, used by Krona many years.
That's funny.
But just I don't want to drop a send just for it. I don't think I have it on me. I would yeah, it was the easiest and fastest.
Yes.
I have now 100 boon duration, right? Just for
Yeah,
um
20 seconds, 8
so we
secs,
know.
ignite,
Yeah, yeah.
10 seconds of quickness.
Yes.
10 seconds of
Yeah,
quickness is a
yeah.
long time.
Yeah,
20
yeah,
seconds is a long
it's
time.
twice the normal. I mean,
Yeah.
normally it's 5. Like if I
Yeah.
switch to um DPS Firebrand, you can see
Yeah.
it's 5. Okay, it's 5 and an itch, but that's because of my foot.
That's true. Which
So
on
yeah,
Quick Brand, I can't remember if it takes. There's a trait where you also give quickness on your heal mantra.
yes,
And I know you
and
don't
that's
need
very
it
important.
necessarily on Heal Brand because you have such high uptime on it, so it's not really
No,
necessary.
no, no.
But is it taken
But
on Quick Brand?
you definitely take it on Quick Brand.
Okay.
It's the first column Liberate as well. And you wanna take, because of the trait and its internal cooldown of 7 seconds, you want to take mantra with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the mantras recharge, like charge recharge, one two words, is
Yeah.
10 seconds. So with alacrity, it's like 7.5 maybe? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Someone do math, but
Yeah.
I think it was 7
That
or
sounds right.
something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So you
so
would
you
want to
would,
use that for quickness uptime as well.
yeah. So that's one thing which is a bit different. You wanna use your quickness mantra to the fullest of the charges, but with heal mantra, because when you use the last charge, it goes on long cooldown, right?
Oh, so
It's
only
just
use leave one
yeah.
charge basically, so you can
Yeah,
continue
leave
benefit.
one charge or 2 charges, however you prefer, but
Okay.
don't use the last one. The
Unless
last
you
one is
really have
like,
to.
yeah, the last one is hero moment. You want to rescue those people because they will just die if they take the hit. And the last charge gives ages, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also applies to yourself. It's bigger healing. It's also only self healing, remind.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So yeah, if you're about to die, just use it. It's ages and a bigger self heal. That's yeah, that's especially important, for example, on DPS where you just pure DPS where you just don't care about giving quickness with it, right? But on Hellfire Brand, you have so much boon duration that even if you misclick it, you would get away with it. Especially since there is a third skill very popular, Feel My Wrath, which is really great lately because it not only gives you quickness, but
Oh.
apart from having radius of 600, so it's a big area, it gives super speed. That's the only source of super speed on Guardian in general. So
Yeah, which is wow.
yeah,
That's a new addition. Love that.
new edition. I can't remember if it was recent patch or patch before, but it is yeah, recent change. So yeah, if you would need super speed, it's nice for some running, but you still take this skill on quickness vibrant. On DPS, it's actually your elite free. Elite skill is kinda free, so yeah, you would take it as well, unless you wanna. You need something else.
Yeah,
It's
unless you really
also
need to give
because it gives
extra
quickness.
stab.
It procs quickfire, which gives you 3 ashes of the just stack. So it's some damage gain actually in a way on pure DPS Firebrand. That's fun interaction. Yeah, but basically, just like you mentioned, using not all charges, but
Mm-hmm.
keeping one charge of healing mantra and then using all charges of mantra of potence, it's more than enough on heal Firebrand. And if you want extra padding, there is also Feel My Wrath. The other thing that Feel My Wrath does is if you need Fury, because sometimes you wanna supply the group with Fury, and if you're pagging, you probably wanna take some Fury just in case. So,
That's true.
well, Feel My
Which
Wrath is an option,
your axe symbol can also be a
and
source
my
of
X
fury.
symbol, yes.
But yeah, it's that's also
Yes.
dependent on making sure that you're able to swap over to that set. You're not having to like stress on healing on staff, and then also like
Yep,
people
yep.
actually being in the symbol.
Because then again, if you're learning Firebrand and you don't wanna touch tomes, then you're very yeah, your healing will suffer because Axe actually doesn't do that much healing.
Mm-mm.
Unless you take a trait. Yeah, let's hope to traits if in Guardian that's work nicely with Heal Firebrand. In Honor, you have a lot of healing goodies and support goodies. For example, Selfless Daring, this medal trait, it heals when you dodge. So you actually, I, it feels fun to just dodge around people and heal them with that. I will tell you that. It's yeah, but that dodge matters. That's one thing how you can feel, and this trade line contributes. There is also lasso symbol of protection from protects this trade. It's nice because when you use healing skill, you will see there is a symbol on the ground around me. This gives protection, so that's helping with protection uptime. Not only the
Definitely.
mantra itself gives protection, this trade also gives. So it is a nice addition. On some healing builds, especially if you are using maze, you would probably go for the invigorated bulwark because it gives this stacking buff, which buffs healing.
Oh yeah.
So total is like 25 healing.
That's if
But then
you
again,
really need healing though. I've noticed that
that
I
yeah,
usually
that
don't
is a
need
very
mace unless like it's
yep.
really bad.
That's very clutch like trait to take.
Yeah.
And I don't think nowadays in PvE especially it's
Mhm.
worth taking. But yeah, it used to be a thing, especially if you play Mace. Because
Yeah.
again, Mace skills gain reduced recharge. I thought they removed it, but actually, yeah, it's uh, it's still there at least in text.
Yeah.
So yeah, apart from yeah, speaking of those weird interactions, they removed Pure Voice. The Grandmaster in Honor used to decrease cooldowns of shouts.
Oh my god,
Now
they
it
didn't update the tooltip?
No, they did. But you know what? It actually still does decrease. Look at advance. Count recharge 30 seconds, I swap. Count recharge
Oh no.
24. So,
Interesting.
yeah, it doesn't work, for example, on Feel My Wrath. It doesn't work on Stand Your Ground, but it
It does
has
work
this
on
interaction
advance
with
only.
advance. Yeah,
Interesting.
so
Some spaghetti
some
code
spaghetti
there.
code.
Definitely.
Yep.
Probably from whenever they revamped Advance, and so now it somehow is different from the
Yeah,
other
yeah,
shouts. I don't
it's
know.
just it happened. I mean, I noticed that when they revamped actually Pure Voice, that it stopped working for other shows, but it still worked for Advanced.
Yeah.
So
Weird.
one day we'll get into it. It's not
Yeah.
a game breaker, but right now it makes Pure Voice be a very crap Grandmaster pick. So like shout skills convert one condition to boon. And remember, I just said not long ago that you have Tom 2, 5 conditions converted to boons, right? And you have also Mantra of Lore, which not only cleanses a lot of condis, but also last charge also converts 5 to condis to boons. So this trade just looks straight up, well,
Just
underwhelming
yeah.
and just if it was the first column when the like
It
small
does seem more
trades
like a
which
first column trait. That's interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
I would move it, but yeah, it definitely needs some love one day because right now it's more about it's just like left to rot here, the option that's you never really want to pick actually,
Yeah.
unless I don't know you do some shout warrior roleplay build, but you're a guardian, I guess. I don't know. I I used it once and I guess Matthias fight for shit and giggles, and I had quite a nice condition cleanse amount, but I was like running all the shouts I could.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, but even then, keeping up with Condi cleanse from Druid was yeah, I had to sweat a bit.
Yeah. And
Uh,
then that
but
last.
then
Oh,
we
go ahead.
yeah, we have the two trades which are actually fun and yeah and useful, which is why I actually started talking about the straight line. Honor, we have Writs of Persistence. Red, actually, not reds. This makes it so your symbols last longer on the ground, and they also take healing.
Oh, that's
So
nice.
just look on the axe symbol now. Like it's from my window to about here, right? And now I turn off the trait and see it doesn't
Oh,
even.
yeah.
It's so much smaller. You are not even in this symbol. Maybe I turned around, but I think
It was
it's
definitely
still like
smaller.
visible, right?
Yeah.
This versus this. You can see, yeah, even lingering. So that is one thing it does. The second one is, especially if you don't want to go in tombs and you want to maximize healing and like, right? I mean, not even maximizing healing. The symbols apply Fury for Axe, and then you have Swiftness for the staff symbols, or bigger symbol, more people are in it, right? More people get boons. So there are two reasons to take it. Healing also increased. I mean, three actually, because it's also longer, so it applies more boons, right, and more healing. But then again, you have Force of Will, which is the other Grandmaster, and this is a thing that gives you vitality. Like you can see, my HP jumps from 13,000 to 16 just by taking this trait. And based on my vitality, I also get a passive healing increase to others. So there is a modifier again to buff my healing with this. But honestly, I am not about spreadsheets like healing numbers. I think rate of persistence is like a bit more fun and useful in practice because the symbols are bigger, or they, apply more healing and more buffs, especially in like plugin scenario. So I personally usually take this one. And yeah, I only talked about this because of Symbol Vengeance, which is one of the symbols that you probably want to have in your toolkit, and it gives Fury, right? So it's Fill My Wrath with Fury and Symbol of Vengeance, mostly your Fury sources. But then again, if you have a group which has wounds organized, or you really need that stun breaks stability, probably Mantra of Liberation would be great pick on Heal Firebrand. There is also a passive healing increase with Signet of Courage, which is actually a very cool skill nowadays. Like, not only got this animation which you're like sort of levitating and meditating, but it also heals and gives you 6 stack of stability. So that is not to be underestimated. Yeah, and it's more passive healing because when it's off cooldown, I would have to be in combat, but again, passive radius 300, so it's not that small. Passively heals around you. I guess since I'm in Boonth topic, we covered quickness. We also touched on fury. It is only right to go to might, I suppose. So here the sources of might are many and plenty. One of them I already mentioned. It was Mantra of Potence. Like, using all the 3 charges on the start of the fight is great. 18 might out of the box. Then you have, of course, stuff like almost legendary Empower. I mean, when I first played War vs. World in like 2012, everyone would use the stick, right? Loot stick and Empower a lot. Nowadays, commanders, whenever I run, it's like stack, 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 Empower, we go in 3, 2, 1, go. It's
Yeah.
like, Empower is still alive and kicking, even though in PvE it was nerfed. It used to apply 12 stacks of might. Now it applies 9.
Yeah, I mean it's still
So,
like one of your primary sources. That and the mantra are
yeah,
your primary
yeah,
sources of might.
yeah, it is great. And not only for the mind, actually. It is also great because it heals in with each pulse and final in the radius of 600. So it's rather large healing circle. There is a problem with it though. It's like one of your only skills which actually animation lock you in place. So
Yeah,
you
which
can
is
see how it
unfortunate.
works. Yeah, yeah. In PvE, that might not be a very big problem unless the A telegraph is landing on you and you need to immediately go out of it, right? But in Word versus Word, if you're just moving around or in PvP, I mean, I don't think you would use. Nah, Core Guardian is stuff definitely in it. Okay, I don't know. So I will abstain for anything about
Okay,
PvP.
that's
But
fine.
in Word versus Word, if you're just moving quite quickly and maneuvering with your commander, then you just randomly press a power and just stay in behind, you're probably dead. You
Yeah,
probably want to interrupt it and run.
yeah, yeah.
So not a great thing. That's the one yeah, sort of trap skill because you can't move and you're stuck in this animation. But it's still powerful, gives might, heals a lot. So that's one of the sources of might. But and how should I say this? If you are not if you're not afraid of opening tomes, there is a lot of might, especially in the first tome. Like we talked about at the first start of the stream, we have the trait Inspired Virtue, which when your tome is not dormant, like just opening it, which is instacast, gives you free might, right? That's one source. But the other one that's also a recent change is actually Ashes of the Just, giving 8 stacks of might, which are also rather long duration because 20 seconds. So you could use Ashes of the Just of cooldown for extra might. But there is also like simple I'm sorry, it's just late for me.
No
There is
worries. Yeah.
also yeah, there is also skill for all, which is a fire field, which you can blast with your skill too for area of might if you really like those,
If you're really
old
desperate for
school.
more.
Yeah, if you're desperate for more. Um, but honestly, the biggest fun actually, but I mean it's also a bit passive, so easy to obtain, is trade from a column I omitted on purpose from Honor. It's our trade line strikes again. The one here, below, empowering might, gives might in a
Ooh.
radius of 600 to 5 targets whenever you crit. So you basically can just auto attack the boss and give might to
Give
people
might.
around.
That's nice.
Yeah, yeah. So if you are like, afraid of forgetting about might, just afraid to pick up Firebrand, this trade has your back. Like, I don't remember the exact uptime of might of this, but like half of the might comes from this trade if you keep attacking. So it's important to have it. Like you can see, might. I still have full boon duration. I think yeah, the food is up. So with 100 boon duration, you see this applies might stacks of 16 seconds. So it's not too short and has internal cooldown of 1 second. So yeah, I wouldn't say you can upkeep 16 stacks of might with it because yeah, that's probably not possible in real fight. But yeah, probably 10 above, easy, right? Just keep attacking the boss. Also crits need to happen, but yeah, with buffed fury and also your gear not having zero. What is my? Yeah, okay. My crit chance is 30 with fury. It's not that great, but the crits still happen. They will definitely happen. So yeah, that's another reason you can. Yeah, it applies might for 16 seconds, but you won't be able to upkeep like 16 stacks on a Hugh Fairman build with it. No way. Yeah, because of the internal cooldown and low crit. But it is definitely a fun thing because, like, if you wondered where the might comes from, one of the things that surprised me in the like very old days when I was learning Heal Firebrand also in fractals, was why do I, when I do this weird, like, pre-stack rotation near misstock, why do I have 3 more might than I actually had come from my skills? And I actually didn't know back then that just opening my tome gives 3.
Okay, so that's
So
another component.
there are so many, yeah, there are so many small, bits and pieces that give the might and just contribute to the pool. So
Yeah.
yeah, again, it could be empowering of cooldown, but then again, you wanna sometimes empower is on 20 seconds cooldown. That's one thing. Like the sort of recommended rotation back in the day for Heal Firebrand was swap to staff, empower, and then wait for empower to come off to cooldown and empower again. I wouldn't really recommend it because we have Mantra of Potence, we have, I mean, even if you ignore the tome, we have Empowering Might. And also, nowadays, it's not like Death Heal Firebrand needs to do 25 stacks. It's usually the Alacrity provider who is doing also a few, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's not like you need to do 25. Unless it's, I don't know, some special setting where you do, but then you probably know how to provide it, right?
We did get
Especially you would, yeah.
a question in chat of what is the boon from spear?
Oh, the spear. That's a fun bit because the spear boon is actually. Let me swap to Dragon Hunter. Ah, this boon from spear is resistance, which is very interesting.
Oh.
And spear might be one of the fun weapons for Firebrand, especially. Yeah, especially when you need resistance, which is again word versus word.
Yeah.
Also, fun fact: you have skill 1 on spear, which is 5 target, yeah, cleave, but also heal.
Yeah, the heal is
So if
nice.
you just, yeah, if you just AA in a Zerg, you're not only tagging enemies like crazy, but also healing people on stack. So I didn't really put so much thought to this as a PvE
Yeah.
heal firebrand build, so I would just
It's a
say,
little better for world to
uh,
world.
yeah, I don't think it's that great. I don't know. I was just focusing on story and doing homestead. Sorry.
No, you're
I
fine.
I equipped it on my Dragon Hunter. I was just having fun with the cool animations. It definitely exists, but number-wise, I'm not sure if it's worth for PvE to use. It's worth in PvE in World versus World for sure for the sheer resistance, movement, tagging, and yeah, the loot stick skill. Similar to what we had back in the day on Staff 1. Like it was a huge wave of light tagging like crazy.
Oh, that's
So this
nice.
is yeah. Yes,
Oh yeah.
Sidecon is
The
also a nice
bombs.
range for tagging people, like range 350.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Let's see. We were just checking in on time here. We
hmm,
technically started about 15 minutes late. So, we've got about 15 20-ish minutes. Um yeah.
I
So, we
can't
might want
believe
to
it. I wanted to talk only an hour. Well,
Well, let's. I know we've gone over Firebrand quite a bit. I mean, the only
yeah.
very quick thing I would maybe add is if we wanted to briefly mention a couple of utility skills that are nice, because you basically have that a third slot that's kind of free. You can have stand your
Yeah.
ground in it. You can have advance in it. You could have bow of truth
I
in
mean,
it, which is a good range skill.
realistically, you have two because the only skill as far as utility goes
Oh yeah,
is
that's true.
Mantra of Potence, right? So
I
you
like to
can
leave the regen
technically,
mantra in there,
yeah, yeah.
but
I
again, you
mean,
might not always need that.
yeah, we can also just mention quickly the healing aspect because I talked about symbols and the fun rate of persistence, right? Right. So obviously, if I use symbol of staff on staff, it also is bigger and does healing. But one of the core healing skills, apart from empower, is also holy strike, which is again range staff skill. And then, as utility skill goes, Bow of Truth
It's so
is,
nice.
again, not only nice healing, but also ranged. And just look at that AoE.
Yeah, big
Imagine green
AOE, big
popping on
range.
VG, right? Veil Guardian, green popping, you just pop your bow and you almost counter the whole
Yeah.
mechanic with it.
has a slight delay to when it actually starts hitting, so just keep that
Yeah,
in mind for timing.
I mean, again, fun fight about spirit. You can see the bow here.
Mm-hmm.
We used to have them as summons.
Oh, I missed them. Yeah,
Just
they would follow you
yeah,
around.
yeah.
I
They
missed
would
that.
follow you around the world, stay for a bit. It wasn't like necro summons nowadays that they
Yeah.
stay indefinitely, but
Uh,
there is also a crazy bug when they get interrupted, I think, during the cast. Because you can see I summon the bow,
mm-hmm.
and then oh wait, then it just does this animation thing of shooting, right? That's the delay you have been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But if it somehow gets delayed by AoE attack, I can't really place my finger on it exactly what it is. It sometimes bugs and just stays there.
Yeah, I think I've seen that once or
So
twice. Yeah.
yeah, so there is this old thingy. They used to throw you like minions, yeah, and it's also charges. So you have technically two bows.
Which is pretty nice.
If you would use Zeal, the Eternal Memory, you would get free, but no, really, not really a reason to do that.
Yeah.
As far as other utilities go, I'm sorry. As far as other utility skill goes, I guess Advance is an honorable mention. Not
Yeah.
only, I mean, Swiftness less so because you have symbol of Swiftness, and then Tom, like we covered the third skill in F2 that it gives vigor, but it also gives swiftness. There is also first skill in F3 which gives swiftness. There are quite a few sources of swiftness, and also the super speed on Fumaira,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's more for
It's more for the Aegis.
instacast.
Yeah.
Yes, like imagine Deimos, especially Deimos
Exactly.
CM again. You need that. I mean, probably is just your best bet, because then again, you could probably use Unbroken Lines, for example.
That's more
But then
untough.
again, toughness,
Yeah. Yeah, and that too.
that's a small
Yeah.
risk.
Okay.
Again, you mentioned Stand
Oh
Your
yeah, stand
Ground.
your ground.
Absolutely great pick, especially if you don't take Mantra of Liberation and you need stability. Because, yeah, you have some in your tome, but that some is actually only this one skill nowadays.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
used to be stab on the
I
first
miss it.
skill, but when they reworked the tomes into instacast, it would be a bit overpowered to always pop into F1 and have stab on Demand
Yeah,
here.
that's true.
So they removed it. It's now protection and swiftness. I believe protection wasn't here. It was swaps from stab to protection. But yeah, standing around only breaks stun on yourself though. But the 5 stacks of stab and it having, shout instacast radius 600. Yeah, 600 is great. I mean, I don't know. Slotozer you could probably get away with Tom of Courage, but imagine you're just playing some other spec of Firebrand or yeah. Some other specs of Firebrand. No, Guardian is a spec of Firebrand. There are definitely uses.
Yeah.
You already mentioned strikes.
All right.
CC.
Yes,
I
CC is
think
good
this
for
is
that.
something that needs to be mentioned. Sanctuary. Insane skill because people actually don't realize one thing. There is no mention of CC on the bar, but anyone who played PvP or Word versus Word would know that if you get caged into the bubble, it actually pushes you back.
Yeah, you
This
kill.
is, yeah,
And
that's
same
a
with Staff
CC.
5 is also a sneaky CC.
Oh, yes,
Mm-hmm.
that's. Thank you for mentioning it. That's another change from the recent patch. F fight is a line which you would, if you would try to cross it, it would, proc the CC. But now it's also, it's not in the tooltip. I don't understand why it
Yeah, I don't
should
get it.
be,
Yeah.
because new play, like there are so many small hidden bits in Guardian and Fireburn as well. For example, they did reban some of the traits, like
Mm-hmm.
how much burning F1 passive on the Firebrand does. It's I think it was base 2 seconds on Firebrand itself. Also, there was a change for permitting Wrath or
Yeah.
the other one. It's just like shadow changes which are not reflected in tooltips.
But
I
what was
can't
the
really.
change to staff you
Hmm?
were saying? You said there was another change to staff they made?
This one, I mean, yeah. the CC on hit isn't mentioned here, right?
Oh, yes.
Because
I thought you were
it
saying there
is
was
it is
another.
a line which when you cross it, it does the CC. Let's
Yes,
call
yeah.
it that. But nowadays, just like the bow on Dragon Hunter, it does a CC on initial hit. So the first hit of my bow, just
Oh,
like
okay.
the
So there's
first hit
initial
of my
action.
line. So when I place it,
Yeah,
this does CC
yeah.
the moment I place it. Also, when you move through it, but imagine world PVE, scenarios where bosses usually stand still, right?
Yep.
Or
I've had
let's
that
say it the
problem
other way.
specifically with
Yeah,
Firebrand before, where I put
yeah,
that line down and I'm like, why isn't it CCing? And it's because the boss isn't actually moving anywhere, and I placed
yeah,
it
yeah,
directly
yeah.
under them.
So the line now does initial CC on the when you place it. We also have going back to Tom's taunt here and the heated rebuke in F1.
Yeah.
That's some stuff. But going back to Sanctuary, if you place it over boss, it will tick every second 150. I think it's a knockback. And
Um.
again, if you run virtues, which you usually do, am I on Heal Firebrand? For example, having like, I think this is my default pick on virtues for Heal Firebrand. You usually have Master on Consecrations. Honestly, because this is a DPS trait, and this one is just like gain resolution ages when disabled
Yeah.
once half minute. It's like probably I think it's good in PvP,
Exactly. I
but
would say it's more
Master of
DPS as well.
Consecration is a go-to in Virtues. Basically, not really a brainer. And then this makes Sanctuary last longer. So it's 7 pulses, 7 times 150. Boom. If the boss actually you have time to CC it because sometimes you need fast CC, right? This is a very potent break bar skill. So yeah, very nice. And what else? I think last but not least, I mean, I mentioned Hallowed Ground for extra stability. I mentioned already Wall of Reflection, but I think there are two more honorable mentions I want to make, which is when things go south, when things go very wrong, and you see people downstate, you have a teleport to person, which is fun fact, you don't need to be down, I can just shadow step to you. So merciful intervention is not only shadow step to ally, but also it does a bit of healing reviving. That's one cool thing which you could take. Also nice range.
Like it says in the
There is
tooltip,
also
if the
hmm?
ally is not downed, it won't teleport, and then you like clearly are able to do that. It like says in the tooltip.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I did some silly stuff in Fractals again. I would put my Misty Weapon and teleport to
Oh
it.
my god, that's a good idea.
Yeah, you can sometimes like put it above you sometimes and just clip through.
Oh my
There was one
god,
of the
that's great.
fractals where you could do this. I mean, people do like imagine Nightmare Fractal. You know the
Yeah.
three altars.
Yeah.
Instead of going the road, you could just place a sword on the edge and teleport to it
That's nice, yeah.
from the middle. Yeah, I think it still works. It's been a while since I used it, but yeah, if you want friends and you don't mind illusionary friends, go yeah, it's just
Yeah. Okay, anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to talk. What were your last two honorable mentions there before we
That was
transition
one
to
of them.
later?
The last one, yeah,
Okay.
that was one of them with a small
Oh yeah, I
extra
forgot
thing
about
with
that.
teleporting. Signet of Mercy. It is especially great when you need, I don't know, extra concentration, although usually you want to use it for resing if you take it at all. The only downside of this skill it's 2 seconds cast with quickness less, right? But it's rather wrong. So sometimes people will just die with it, but I managed to rescue people, for example, if they were standing in the doom, um, the ghoul. My brain just turned off.
In Doom? In the
When
oh
he
yeah, yeah,
does
like a
soul sack,
lesser.
right?
Yeah, a lesser
Yeah,
or something.
the lesser soul sack or whatever it is. So yeah, obviously high damage, but if you're quick with it, you sometimes are fast enough to rest them, and that's a scenario where when you don't want to go into the AoE because yeah, it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
But also ranged, right? So those are the fun bits, extra mentions, and well, okay, I'll do one more. I just need to even more CC because sometimes you need. There is also a spiritual weapon, Hammer of Wisdom. You can bonk bosses if you want fast, Some scenarios it is good when Sanctuary is just ticking slowly and it's more maybe not of cooldown, and you have 2 charges of Hammer of Wisdom. But I think that's it as for like especially Heal Firebrand skills. Let's move quickly to Quickness Firebrand maybe. So yeah, because then we okay. So of course you can check the build on Snow site, which is yeah, a great work of our team. But what I wanted to mention is the traits here are. Oh, I know what I forgot. 1 second. So with Firebrand traits for Heal Firebrand, right? You obviously want the grant quickness on heal skill usage, but there is also one trait below, one that's like on worth mention, I feel, which is extra pages. If you would just wonder why some people have 8 pages instead of 5, no, they are not hacking. There is a trait for it. And there is the second column also. I mean, this pick isn't really viable because what I'm gonna say now about this trait YT terms, every time you use your last charge of mantra, you get 2 pages. Let's just let me demonstrate it. Right? I went to 0 pages now. I mean, yeah, I did. And now I'll just use all of the charges of this mantra, and I goofed myself because I didn't select the trait. Yeah, I got 2 charges, right? So the extra pages aren't really that great. You usually want this trait because whenever you use fully your mantras, and if you're a quickness giver, you almost certainly spam this button all the time. So every 20 seconds, actually a bit, you'll get you'll get pages. Then there is this trait which is sometimes used, Aegis or Stability, extra quickness. Again, Heal Firebrand, it's just too much quickness. And then there is this trait on the bottom which just gives even more boons whenever you use Tom skills, which is an extra, but actually, honestly, this one is probably the default pick. And for Heal Firebrand, just wrapping up this build, usually you want to take Stoic Demeanor because whenever you use like CC skills, controls, you would apply might and resistance to your allies. You could try this one, which makes your pages regenerate faster, but it's not really again worth it. We have a lot of extra pages from mantras. Especially if you're, for example, running Lore Mantra and Mantra of Potence, right? You could, in a bad moment, just use last charge of this just to get 2 pages. And that is it for Heal Firebrand. But since I said what the last charge does extra for Firebrand, it is one thing I need to mention as well, which is you could see that when I do 3 skills in any tome, this one ate 1 page, this one ate third page, second page, this one should eat third page, but it actually didn't disappear. There is Swift Scholar trait, which wait. Am I too tired already? Yeah, no, I'm not.
Oh yeah, there it is. Pages.
Every first Tom skill grants you pages. Yes, I knew it was
that.
this one. Imagine. So that is why sometimes you wanna use the third skill in the Tom because it's free, basically, right? Because you use first one skill, second skill, it is pages. Then you use third skill, but it's actually because it's the third one, it gives you 1 page back. So it's just free. Page economy. But that's yeah. That's one small thing. So for example, if I go here, use this one and use see the second use of the rose was free. No, yeah, refund system, right? And this is also a bit of a silly trade because few firebrands and quick firebrands, which I will move to now, whenever they open the tombs and they are not dormant, they will get quickness themselves. So the firebrand actually, even if it's DPS firebrand, they have better self quickness uptime than the group they give quickness to,
Hmm.
which is might be a bit you're just, I don't know, looking at the boon table, seeing stuff that your party has 80% quickness uptime and you have 100, and wondering why that is, right? Because they are always on stack. That is, yeah, that is possibly the reason, if you're opening toms, that this trade just gives you this extra quickness, which results in your higher personal uptime. But yeah, moving to quick firebrand finally. um the trade choices most in the Firebrand line stay mostly the same. You want Mantra of Solas, sorry, and Liberator's Vow for the quickness uptime. Again, when I used all the charges apart from one, it's probably the best idea because you can see the icon graphics flip, right? It's clearly visible it went to 2. If you were like tracking it, if it's 2 or 3 charges, it's this small number in the corner, just less visible. Then again, terms, because you get extra pages. It is actually a really important trait, especially on condition, the DPS one, because well, if you didn't have this, you wouldn't be able to spam so many, you know,
Because
F1 skills.
you need it to
Basically,
regenerate
your
all those
damage would
potions for you.
suffer. Yeah, you won't bother.
Nice.
And just look at my build right now. I am on Quick Firebrand and I have 2 mantras I both use to the fullest. So every 20 seconds or so, I'll get 2 pages from this one and 2 pages from this one. So I basically have 4 pages every 20 seconds. Well, less because alacrity, but again, I'm a bit simplifying it. Then again, the normal cooldown of the pages is you get one per 8 seconds. So if you would like use all the pages and then wait here, every 8 seconds you would get one. It's compared to initiative on Thief, but it's, let's say, it's
Yeah, it's a
very
little
slow.
different. Yeah. Yeah, very slow
Yeah,
compared to Thief Initiative for sure. So is
yeah.
the idea
The,
then that you kind of end up like when you do your damage, you like go into your tome, you like do damage and use up your pages, and then you like go back and you generate pages with your mantras, and then go back into tome again. I don't know. I haven't looked at the newer
it,
iterations
it
of.
it is sort of it is sort of this, but it's you don't need to control it that much. It
Okay, that's
is
good.
like spender and builder mechanic a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So you wanna, spend your pages, and to build the pages you can either wait, which is obviously the slowest and I don't know, most boring way of getting pages, but you can also use mantras, use the cool interaction I told you before, like losing 3 skills in a row in a tome before quitting it. Like you can see, I'll just use 2 skills here. This buff, Swift Scholar, it's
Mm-hmm.
on 2 stacks, right?
Yeah.
Now I use third skill and it disappears. I use fourth skill and it's 1 stack.
Oh, nice. So you can keep track of that
So
there. That's nice.
it is visible here, right?
Yeah.
And now it stays because it's bugged.
Yeah. uh,
So yeah, don't get too happy about it because now I open other Tom and it's not like it stays. It's just because
yeah.
if you use drop bundle, it stays. I believe if I drop
Oh,
Tom, it
there's
does.
feedback. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't see it. Cleared it. I think I actually did file a bug report on this. I don't remember
Yeah.
anymore.
Do you want to
Um,
show us just a little bit of what the rotation looks like on the golem so we get kind of an idea? of the
Honestly, I'm
pronunciation?
too tired. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. You're
I
totally
just
fine.
don't want to give you bad example, especially
There's the
since
bench
my
that people can look at if they want
there is the
references.
bench,
Yeah.
great bench made by Florian, I believe nowadays. So shout out to him. Also, the benches made before, especially for Quickfire Brand by Iska, right?
Mm-hmm.
They doing amazing job, so I would definitely see what they are up to with it. I just yeah. Again, I've been in not it's not only 2 a.m. for me, but I've been for past few months in like
Yeah.
Will Bender jail,
Yeah.
progging servers, LCM. So it's just I tried recently playing Quickfire Brand on that
Yeah.
fight, and yeah, I didn't like die even though I didn't have invuln and I had to dodge the podos, etc. But I could feel I'm out of touch with Firebrand
Mm-hmm.
now,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't want to show it.
That's
But
fine.
obviously, I can just say about weapons.
Okay.
As like on pistol is so great. Pistol actually like makes axe not viable, especially on quickness Firebrand.
Mm.
Like you cannot take unrelenting criticism anymore on
Mm.
quickness Firebrand because you wanna have liberate as well. So that makes axe just straight up weaker than pistol, even though pistol's auto attacks are bad. So we end up playing pistol on quickness Firebrand, which is in a way cool because we get a bit of a ranged treatment, as
Mm-hmm.
in we lose less DPS. It's not that we don't lose DPS, we lose less when we have to detach from the boss for a bit, right? But for example, on DPS Firebrand, which one keybind was it? We take unrelenting criticism, so one of the main hand weapons would be axe still.
Mm. Okay.
So I mean, honorable mention about axe being weird. The most important bit of axe is the third auto attack hit,
Hmm.
which I mean it
Oh, I
because
think I've heard that. Yeah.
the first two hits apply bleeding only, and bleeding is like a portion, a small I believe 5%, something. Maybe it's more with unrelenting criticism. Yeah, it is more now is. But burning is the main source of like guard in general, whether it's Firebrand, Condition, Woolbender, it's like burning spec. It's not conditions, it's mostly burning spec.
Mm-hmm.
So when you know auto attack whatever you auto attack and you don't finish that third auto attack because you interrupted somehow. For example, spamming too fast the key, this actually happened to me in some cases. You actually lose the double hit on the last auto attack chain because if you, I mean, that's the one reason you could use the golem. But even on the first attack, you can see there is me swinging the axe. You can see the tray of my legendary, and then there is this ghostly axe following the further right. This is my
Oh,
auto attack
second
hitting
hit.
twice.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah, so when you look over the tooltip rig slash, it applies 2 stacks of burning and twice the damage because 2 times because it's 2 hits.
Okay.
So it is very easy to you do your auto attacks and for example not hit the second, like the ghostly axe doesn't land the hit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if you like interrupt it prematurely, also if you don't finish your auto attack chains, it's probably Firebrand, which is one of the specs that suffer the most nowadays from not finishing auto attacks.
Mm.
It's yeah, so just a note because this particular weapon yeah can be a reason why you're not hitting the bench. Then again, there is the third skill, which they made very nice lately. It has 2 charges. It used to be like this, you need to flip it and then throw it. And then it was 1 charge. The second charge came from a trait which gave you the proc when you crit. So there was one skill in a Condi build which was reliant on crit. And
Yeah.
sometimes
It's a
you
little
crit,
weird.
sometimes you don't,
Yeah.
so it could like trade off a bit. But now you have 2 charges, which is very nice. Um, hmm.
Well, we're
Utility
technically,
skills. Yeah,
yeah, we're
as the
technically at
last.
approximately time, but if you want to, like, if there's anything else that's really important about
I think.
Firebrain that you want
Yeah,
to
I
say.
think the only thing I wanna say is utility skill for Firebrand
Mm-hmm.
condition build. We obviously take the mantra, which we talked about at the start, the burning one, right? Flame of mantra of flame. It's yeah, it's the same gimmick as other mantras. Last stack, last charge is more potent at applying 3 stacks of burning.
Mm-hmm.
We also taking Purging Flames, which is, I didn't mention it in the Heal Firebrand talk, but it is also a very nice support skill, because it, with each pulse, it cleanses a condition on allies and you.
Oh yeah, that would be
So
nice.
imagine a Condi heavy scenario, like, I don't know, let's say Anka strike, right, from EOD. You would place it off cooldown, of course, on the stack on the boss, but because so many conditions happen from her pistol attack, I believe, you would just be cleansing this all the time and actually, yeah, making the healer sweat there just with just one skills. Very cool. So, yeah, might be nice to actually position it like to be it on the boss and on the party if you have the choice, but and need it. And if you would need to drop any utility skill because you want a sanctuary, it's, I think, nowadays the signet again. We have guides for it, right? The elite is free, so you can totally take. I mean, it was this small interaction with quickfire because you get extra ashes stack whenever you grant quickness. It is weirdly, very weirdly worded here. Granting quickness to an ally also grants ashes of the chest. It is technically just you, because you're the priority when granting quickness, right? So it's always you getting these ashes of the chest proc. So you lose a tiny bit not running Filmoil Wrath, but actually the utility of Mantra of Liberation is probably more DPS gain, not getting, thrown around. So, yeah, that would be it.
Cool. Well, um, yeah, I'm sure we could keep as with most of these. We usually could keep talking about given specs for like
Yeah,
hours.
yeah,
Yeah, so like I said, that's one of the
I,
things why I like to like do
I
them
should
again
have
after a portion of
predicted
time.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're fine. Um,
I mean, we are in a special situation because, for example, most, I don't want to say most to generalize too much, but you usually have a like DPS build for a spec or maybe
mm-hmm.
2 DPS builds viable. Firebrand is one of those. Like, look at my tabs. I have 9 tabs out here, and only one of those is DH. Only two, oh, this is actually unbought. Only two are Willbender, I think. Where was the other Willbender? Oh, I think it was this, but it cleared. Never mind. It's mostly Firebrand because
Yeah,
it's Quickness Firebrand, it's Condition Firebrand, it's Word
exactly.
versus Word Firebrand, it's the Celestial Firebrand, it's the Heal Firebrand, and I even have a special very tanky Firebrand from. Oh, I don't use it that much nowadays, but it's more of like when I was learning to tank bosses in raids long time ago. I
Yeah,
would just go. I call it tank the sun because I would have 2400 toughness on this.
yeah, yeah.
A
It's
very tanky build.
definitely Firebrand's a great utility build. Lots of tabs. We're definitely getting to
Yeah.
that point in the game where there's a lot of options, or at least usually at least one spec per profession that has a lot of flexibility. But yeah, some definitely less than others. I would
I mean,
say
yeah.
Lionel
Originally it
and
was. Yeah, originally it was mostly Firebrand having all those options, right? And everyone was envious of it. Now, luckily, and others have some love.
yes, yes, yeah. All right. Well, I know it's very late where you are as well, so I want to let you
Yeah,
get to
it
bed.
might be the reason I got so sidetracked. I'm sorry
You're
for this.
fine. You're totally fine. So thank you
Yeah.
so much for joining us, Antina, for imparting knowledge upon us. I actually don't have another class lined up yet because things have just been like really busy, and so I haven't
It's
lined one up
also
for
new
September.
expansion. So,
Yeah, plus
oh,
I've
okay.
hardly even gotten to play the expansion. I played the first story instance and like that's it. So it's
Uh,
been
I did
a
like
very busy
half
week.
of it maybe, but again, I'm just taking it slow and just
Yeah,
exploring the maps
that
because
too.
I just need to chill right now.
Yeah,
So that's yeah.
yeah, same.
Well, thank you,
I do
Antina.
that.
This was very informative. I really appreciate it.
I'm glad to hear
Yeah.
it. Cool.
You're welcome. I hope I didn't talk you too much to, to death of this, but
No,
yeah,
it's wonderful. Thank you.
I remember when somebody not long ago asked me, like, can you like explain Hugh Firebrand to me in like 5 minutes? And we've been there half an hour, and they were, and I was just getting started, so I could have predicted it, I suppose. But well,
But yeah, cool.
it's
I'm gonna
fun.
go ahead and hop out.
Yeah,
Have a good
sounds
night,
Yep.
good.
everyone.
See you later,
Have a good
Valora.
one.
Again. Bye.
And yes, just thank you again. Thank you everyone who came and hung out in chat. Yeah, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to pop in Snowcrow's help desk, Guardian
Yep.
channel. Um, Antina
We
is
do
there.
update the stuff, so
Mm-hmm.
you'll find the juicy CC tables, healing rotations, whatever
Yeah,
it is.
we've recently been making quite a few updates to our build pages where now we're displaying the benchmark on there, and we'll start displaying historic benchmarks, and yeah, working on
Oh,
formatting on the pages where now we're gonna have we I think most of it is done now where we have actual like sections where yeah, like you're talking about a CC table and stuff like that.
hmm.
So
I
working on updating
personally
stuff.
did CC table for Hail Firebrand, so I know this one
That
is
that one's in there, yeah.
yeah, the motion recently, but
Yeah.
I believe I've seen the historical bench graph for Condition Firebrand already,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah, that was like just
definitely
this
coming.
week. Yeah, I think
Yep,
that
cool
pod just
stuff.
started pounding that out. So yeah, but yeah, cool. Thank you again, and
Yep.
we will see y'all later.
Enjoy unleashing, the lure of Elonum, and
Yeah,
yeah.
enjoy
Um,
spitting pages at people.
yes, yes.
Yeah. All right.
Um,
Signing off
well,
of Twitch. Um, Goodbye, everybody.
yeah.